Hi guys, it's Aegis here. So today I'm here with another decent deck profile. This time we're covering the upgraded Varga deck profile. So we have our new main boss basically, our Rasetsu, or like in English, I think so far the fandom is calling it Rakshasa. I don't know when will the like official naming come out, but this is a beast. But you need to be very careful when using it as well, because it can be easily countered by some like strategies if your opponents know how to deal with it. So in here in this deck profile, I will try to also like give you some ideas on some actions that you can do, something that you might try to avoid, so that you won't have a hard game with this deck. Because with our original Varga, we already have a big problem of not being able to basically utilize all our skills, and as long as your opponent is just willing to not give you enough damage, or they just hard guard themselves so you can't use the defense skill at all. So there's a lot of things, right? And then you will eventually run out of gas. With the upgrades, we are less running out of gas, but we will also running out of gas. So it things are getting a lot easier to do and more efficient, but then you still need to play it well, I guess. And this is also why, if you are like checking on the Japanese results, they usually have one person taking this deck out to be part of the free, which, because it's not too hard to pilot in the first place, and with a little bit of luck, like before you restand you hit into a crit, it can change a lot of things. So it's still a good pick. So let's go over the deck. Now for right line, I'm using the Boulder Axe because we can get it to draw. For grade 1, I'm using the Valkyra for saving myself a hand and then just turning into Soul Blast, because I don't actually Soul Blast that much. So I think it's okay to actually Soul Blast 1 to save myself a card in hand to go into my grade 2 using my right deck. And then grade 0, just whatever you have. So it doesn't matter. But so far, I think this like right line combination has been there for quite a while. Some people still rather use a full Varga right line for more beaters, but I kind of don't quite like the random soul charge, so I rather use the soul blast to turn it into something else. But when you're using this right line, the main thing is you might not have enough soul to do a lot of things, so you need to be very, very careful with a soul usage. Right. And then going to the main deck first, 4 of the Rasetsu for sure, because this is basically the guy that you will be riding on and basically count as your personal ride. So you won't be riding any of the old Varga anymore. You go into this, you get yourself into the states, which is very important, because if you don't get into the states, there's a lot of things that won't get active, and you basically need to get into these states in order to use a lot of skills that within the card, right? For example, to do your resents, your first resents, which is very important, because if you can't do your resents, you can go into your defense skill. So you have to basically try to find this card, as some people are actually using the new grade 1 trying to search it, which is okay, because if you're using this right line, you will be using your 0, right? And then you will Soul Blast the 0 with the 1, and then your grade 2 will come out and it will pop himself, so you already have 2 cards for you to actually do it if you want to. But spoiler, I'm not using that card. I'm just going to hard draw into this for spaces that I think worth to put other cards in. and that's why we are here. Alright. And then 2 twin pulse, and then one of the Varga Dragres Dragon. Now I see a lot of people actually dropping this card, but I still like it being able to pump my Vanguard for the 5k to hit key numbers, and it still has the potential to actually bring me a unit when I don't have anything on the field. So I'm still running it. I was running 4 before upgrading into this, but then I turned it into 2, which is fine. I just need it not that many times, so I don't actually need 4 copies. So 2 is working fine for me. And then Varga Dragres Dragon is still a very good booster. If you put him in the front row, he won't die. So like basically die by your Vanguard skill. So it's still a very good card to consider using, but you don't actually need that much anymore. I think if you want to have it here, like me, just put him 1. If you think he is good to go, then of course you can just take him up. But I just like him being able to boost my grade 2s as a 30k booster to bring into 23k, which is a good number. So that's why I'm still using that. And then of course we have our Shuras. If you did watch my like different Varga upgrade videos, that usually I am the guy who tells you don't put in a whole playset of Shuras, because in the past she costs so much counter blast while you already need to use like 2 counter blasts to do your thing, right? But then even now it's kind of the same, but the potential of Shura is way different right now, I would say, because you don't just rely on her reborn skill for herself and then to be an extra attacker, but you are also trying to use her to recycle a lot of different things, right? For example, your boulder axe, that you can keep using it. This one, so you can keep reusing it for more units, or any other things that you might see in a bit, then it can actually help, right? So for now, I would say it's good to have 4 Shuras in here, and you can just simply put her out to attack if you want to, but which I will come up in a bit after we go through the whole list. And then we have a right cost for sure. Utilize 3 energies for a draw, and if you personalize, you can actually bring a great one out, which if you use a Shura to apply the effect on those great ones, you can actually get those cards back, because your Varga is not only cutting the front row, it's also cutting the back row. So you have more ways to utilize your Shura into turning a lot of cards back to your hand, and then they become actually good resources. And then 3 more Boulder Axe for a draw is really just that good. So far I don't see a reason you should take it out. That's my opinion, but yeah, I did try to like turn it into just 2 copies in my main deck, but then after a few playtests I actually feels like I still need a 3, so which basically is a playset right here. And then we have our new card, Storm Slasher Dragon. So this is a card that will reborn as long as you use your Varga skill to pop it, and your Vanguard is in the states, then yeah, you can reborn it, and you can Soul Blast 1 to stand this unit if you are in states, right? So the reborn doesn't require you to be in state, but if you want it to restand to actually reuse it as a second booster, you need to in state and Soul Blast 1 for it. And if your Vanguard is in states, it will get plus 5k also during its opponent's turn. So it's a 30k booster beater, kind of like him. So if you don't want to use him, you can put in another copy of that, but you do need to make your timing very precise with this card, because if you somehow put this card to your front row, your Vanguard would cut the front row first, right? And then you reborn him to the back row. But then after your Vanguard attacks with that skill, and then you choose to like basically pop the back rows, then it will die again. So if you on the first try, while this card is on the front row, and then you mistakenly just soul blast one to restand it, and then like your Vanguard cut it again, then you'll waste the soul blast. So do be careful, making sure you read your cards right. Even if you reborn it, just be careful. Just don't waste the soul blast, because especially with this build, you don't actually have a lot of souls for you to make mistakes for. So yeah, but overall it's a very strong card because you can reuse it as a booster, which in like Varga is very important. Even when your Shura is just 20k, if you have a 13k booster right there, it's a 33k swing, a front trigger can just basically save the attack from their combos. So yeah, which is very good support. And then for sure we have our Roxy for blocking the intercepts and turning into another draw, something that you can use Shura to basically just reuse again if you want to. And the good thing is you can pop Roxy before your Varga actually cuts the back row. So there we go. And then of course we still have our Impel Horn. I see a lot of people actually dropping the Impel Horn. They are using the great one from Gandiva or drawing cards, which is fine, but for me I still like to make my Vanguard strong, so I'm using this card. And as long as you use your first half of the skill to cut the front row, after that you can simply just use this skill, pop yourself to draw one to escape first, and then you cut the back row, you are still fine. So that's why I'm still using this card, because it can still turn into a draw for me, and it's a 15k booster, which is very good in baiting shields from opponent, even though most likely they will just give me PGs because they don't want any kind of sudden things happen. But then that's exactly why that I can kind of manage when I want to use it, right? So it's still a good card, but if you don't want to think too much, then you can actually turn it into the Gandiva great one that I talked about. You can use that, but so far I like this more. And then the Jam Cat, because I can just pull it out with this, use Shura to apply, bring it back up, and then use it for a special shield, or if I actually need an extra draw, I can use it for a draw. So it's good to be here, basically. And then 3 of the unit PG and 1 of the pistol PG, but so far I did see less and less grade 4 decks coming out, because even just Night Rose is not that easy to stay on the field. Luard, I heard people saying he's coming back, but I don't see it that often yet. So it's up to you. If you want to turn it back to a unit PG, you can. If you want to use the one that against the press, you can use that as well. But it's up to you. And then defensive tactics, so that I can reuse a lot of cards. Even just the cat, I can reuse it 2 times. Well, basically 1 more time, so I total of 2 times. Or there are other cards that like get trigger, like even the OT, you can just use OT plus this for a 60k shield, bounce the OT back to your hand, use it again. So it really, like what the card said, is a defensive way for you to survive. so it provides you more options to stay alive a little bit longer. So I still like to use this card, and it's a one-off, so it won't hurt you too much. And then the pot of greed or counter charge, because you do need the counter charge, and sometimes you are just, even though you draw a lot, you still want to draw more. So there we go. And triggers, I see a lot of people actually using the water OT, which for sure is correct answer, absolutely. But I just want to be romantic and use the Dragon Empire OT, so that when I actually go into Rasetsu, I can just like keep restanding him, keeping my drive, right? So that's the dream. That's why I'm doing it. And I did have a match that I used my normal Varga, apply the skill, swing into it, and then just pull this off, and then I basically wasted restand and lost all my drives. It happens. But if you want to do a romance play, that's a risk that you need to take. But if you don't want to take the risk at all, use the water OT for your 9th crit basically, and just be happy with that. So it's up to you what you want to use. I just want to try this, and it's fun. And then, as I said, here are the 8 crits, and then for the free, I'm using the draws instead of fronts. I do see some people using front, but to me, I don't think front is too efficient for me, except for the defense. I just like to draw a lot of cards with this deck, so I'm using the draws instead of front. And like 90%, when you're playing this deck, you will only have one Riga that can still attack when after your Vanguard attacks. So I can't see front being too useful, and I'd rather just have a draw to save my life, and then ending the list with 4 more heals. Yeah, just basic one would be fine. The sewing crit is up to you. A lot of people I think just use normal crits right now, but if you really need the like little extra soul, this can help, but I don't think you have much chance to actually use it by choice. You're more likely to just use it for guarding. Yeah. So the deck list is here. Now let's talk about a little bit things that you need to be very careful when playing this deck. Now in a grade 2 game, when you are on your Boulder Axe, which you have an option to play a lot of units to the front row to attack, you can, and in some cases it is the right choice. But if you're playing a very experienced player, then this will most likely be the worst choice of yours. It could be. Now the reason why is because when you use a lot of front row Rigas to attack, of course you can bait them to take more hits or dropping you a card each for your attacks. But at the same time, you are giving them a choice to just hit your Rigas and call it for the turn. And for players like me who knows this deck very well, what I will do against a Varga deck is I will try to not give a single damage to Varga before they go into Varga. So on your Varga turn, you don't have a counterblast to resent, and then I hit you so hard against your resources where you don't have that much resources recovery, and you kind of need to rely on your Boulder Axe to draw into some good cards, which may not always happen. Then even when you go into this, you might not have enough attackers, or even if you do, you need to basically pop them off, turn in draw, and hopefully you can have a good next turn, right? But then you already survived this turn, which is very important, because if you're allowing Varga to restand, that means no matter what, you still need to commit a damage or a 15k shield, right? So that's what people will do against a Varga deck, and to kind of prevent that, for now I basically just try to just use my Vanguard to attack. Maybe I will add boost to push, because I still kind of need to push damage through so that when I go into Varga, it's scary. Or else they will just take the hit and call it a day, right? So do be careful. Don't call too many regards, or especially good regards, because say if you go into a grade 2 turn and then you call 2 Boulder Axe, you definitely will get both of them being attacked by your opponent's Vanguard and regards. They'll just clear you off before you can get into the draw, and that can cost you a game because you can't draw. So do be careful about that. And then when you go into this, you kind of just wipe the board every single turn, but you still need to be very careful on your moment of using the defense skill. You don't just go into this and then just call it divine skill and hopefully you win. No, you still need to be very, very careful, because this is like a one-off still. So you need to be very careful on what the timing to actually use the divine skill is very important. But at least with the current situation, you are getting better than, like, after using the divine skill than the original one. Because for the old one, you just basically wipe the front row, wipe the front row, wipe the front row, hopefully you win. But now you are wiping front row and back row constantly, so the resources your opponent needs to commit to get the board back is a lot more, which is why this card is just great. Yeah, so that's why I like it more. And then it's easier to actually do a 2 Shuras play right now, because in the past, when you need to do a 2 Shura plays, of course you need a total of 4 counterblasts to just do this romance play, but you need both Shuras in the front row to do that. But now you don't have to. You can have one in the front row, one at the back row, and then still have a Boulder Axe in front, and then you just apply skill to Boulder Axe while you're Shura +5, right? So let's put it here. So you can still do this, and then you have 2 Shuras, right? So you can just even do it like this. You can have something at the back if you want to, so you can still like swing, plus power gives skill, swing, pop, turn into drawing back to your hand, this swing, right? And then we're gonna reborn this, and after that wipe the back row, reborn this, resend, and then you can swing again, and then if you have define skill you can swing again, and then you can swing too. So what you can do is 1 attack, 2 attack, turn and draw, 3rd attack, bring this back, bring this back, you stand, 4th attack, 5th attack, 6th attack, 7 attacks. So you can do a total of 7 attacks, which is great, I guess. And you can control the timing to do this, and you actually get to draw from this, or you can use this to pump your Vanguard power, right? So the upgrade of Varga actually turns Shura into a very good card that you can manage the moment that you want her to pop off while not like being annoying on your board. Because like at this, it's very annoying, right? Because when you attack with this, you probably don't want to apply skill to her because it's basically a waste, because you want to reborn her. And then you need to apply that to your back rows, which you might not be like carrying that much, especially in the past, but now you can do this. So with this, yeah, so the upgrade really makes the deck stronger and kind of more strategic to play it, even though like the changes isn't actually that much, but you have options and it's just more efficient in doing things. So I like the upgrade, which I think this will probably be the ending arc of Varga. But in the story, it did say Varga is trying to take in the power, turn into his own. So we might actually see a different version of Varga again later. Never know. But let's stay tuned and see if like how far this Varga can actually goes. Yeah. So I think that's it for this deck profile. If you have any questions, like in different moments what you want to do, you can simply just comment down below, let me know. If I know answers, I will just give you those. Subscribe for more deck profiles, unboxings, deck fight videos. Yeah, that's it for today. Thanks for watching guys, and I will see you guys in the next video. Signing off.